The Orioles getting ready to wrap up their series against the Houston Astros. Last game of three. Birds have dropped the first two. They're 2 games back of Boston in the American League East. Let's go to the massive broadcast booth in Houston. Baseball Hall of Famer and Orioles Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. Jim, tell us, are the Astros pitchers that good?
Well, I think they've been pretty good myself. I mean, are they that good? I just was listening to Rick Dempsey. He doesn't think so. I kind of have to concur with him. You know, some of the, and I'm going to throw out some, I'm going to drop some names here, Hall of Fame names. Eddie Murray could look for a breaking ball. That's why he got, over 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. Cal's in the Hall of Fame with over 400 home runs, 3,000 hits. Brooks Robinson, Hall of Famer. He could look for a breaking ball. But there were a lot of other guys. Paul Blair, until he got beamed, was one of the greatest breaking ball hitters in the history of the game. I'd say, Paul, how can you hit it? He says, because I went up there and looked for it. So that is part of the formula to try to hit guys. I think these guys have great stuff. You know, McHugh, different speeds, not overpowering, had a really good overhand curveball. You don't see a whole lot of those, but they turned Shoemaker with his 13 strikeouts in 8 innings, and you know he came in with an 8.49 ERA, and maybe he hadn't thrown that well, but they didn't have a lot of quality at bats. I mean, I think this basically, Tom, this is a home run hitting team. You know, it's hard sometimes to subjugate your ego because, you know, I was talking to Mike Bordy, he had 20 home runs. I said, that was fun, wasn't it? He said, yeah, but I said, you also like to take that low and away fastball and hit it down the right field line, something he learned from one of the great hitting instructors, Terry Crowley. So, you know, I know Scott Coolbaugh, who's the hitting instructor for the Orioles, is saying you have to use the whole field. You have to think back up the middle. But I think these guys like to trot around the bases, and when the other team does not get on the same page, in other words, doesn't like that, in Houston, they do have some good arms out there. You can get a lot of swings and misses, and we've seen that not only here, but also out in Anaheim.
Well, the obvious next question is, can the Orioles adjust, and will they adjust?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, you know, Lance McCullers is going to pitch. He struck out 11 and pitched a complete game against him. He loves to pitch here. He's given up 3 earned runs or less in this 11 start. Now he's coming off shoulder problems, so we'll see if he's the same kid when he came up last year. He's very young, like 22 years old. So, you know, and what is his favorite pitch? A curveball. He throws it over the plate 70% of the time. So that will you know, maybe it will present a problem. Now, if he doesn't make good pitches, something that they did in Anaheim, Weaver changed speeds with the best of them, but nobody was trying to go to right field off him. You know, if the Orioles don't have quality at bats, and you know, the interesting thing about striking out, you don't strike out till you get to two strikes. How do you get to 2 strikes? And as Rick Dempsey said, boy, they have been waving a lot of pitches that are pitchers' pitches early in the count, and that gets you into problems.
Jim, when you're in a rut like this, do you prepare differently as a player, whether you're a pitcher or a position player?
No, I mean, I think these guys, they care a lot. They want to make adjustments, and you know, they come out, they hit extra, they work about staying behind the ball and all that. But at the end of the day, what's your approach when you go to home plate? And, you know, McCullers has got a pretty good fastball. It's going to be around 93 to 94, and he's got one of the better hooks for a young pitcher in the game. So hopefully he'll make some mistakes. Hopefully, maybe the Orioles will take a page out of Mr. Kim's book, where he went the other way. When he worked the count into his favor, he was able to pull a double down into the corner. So, you know, that's the challenge. But to me, this is, you know, we always look at big games. This is one of the biggest ones. Godsman's been pitching well on the road. He hasn't been winning because they don't score a lot of runs. They need to win tonight, and this is a must-win.
Well, Jim, as always, we appreciate your comments. Look forward to chatting with you and listening to you during the broadcast tonight from Houston, Texas.